girls that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes who are from North Texas. Their families are here in Kirk County, and they are getting that devastating news that these little girls' bodies were found. And there's also families here.
Welcome in. God bless you guys.
Not received any information. Again, 11 missing girls from Camp Mystic and one counselor. All of those.
French fries. How are you, French fries?
Again, it's all.
I'm going to pause this 1 second, guys. So they are now, before we get into this, first of all, thank you for being here on this Sunday. As we're wrapping up our 4th of July Independence Day, these people are wrapping up the search and rescue. Now it's becoming a search and recovery. Richard, hello. And there's now been confirmed at least 67. I mean, it's changing every hour. 67 deceased, 21 children. I got some footage here that I brought up from the New York Times. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to show what I can show you. It is something I've never seen before. So we're going to show you that. VIP Auction Group, thank you so much. Appreciate that. For that donation. Let me just turn the camera. VIP, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And of course, that donation, we will go ahead and pass it forward to the homeless people here in Las Vegas metropolitan area. Now they have, right now, they have a major search and rescue volunteers. And there's also, if you guys have some free time or anybody out there who's able to do it, you know, I'm actually thinking about going out there and just volunteering my time to search and rescue. We're going to get into that a little bit later. This is becoming just really sad by the hour. Now, there is some good news. They did find one girl, but right now we're coming in with 11 girls and one counselor. Sorry, one counselor missing. Now, I'm going to show you some videos in a second of this from New York Post on how fast the water came in just a second. Let me just turn this around. I wasn't completely set up here. I got to get something here for the trolls that come in here to try to get those. Okay, I'm going to let you listen to this, and we're going to change cameras in a second.
On deck, it's devastating to see. We have people here, employees. We have first responders here at Camp Mystic pulling. There were trunks. I'm a girl. We went to camp. We decorated trunks. We were so excited. So we were. They were pulling trunks that were
a parent's worst nightmare. Yes, VIP. Really is. Thank you for that donation. Yes.
People who are
it really
stuff
is.
Out of what looks like cabins, they're buildings. So we've seen them pulling out
mattresses. I mean, buildings crushed, tents flown away, little girls hanging from a tree. So there's stuff that I don't even want to show, but
North Texas families, as my photographer, pans around, and on social media. If you know Lila Bonner.
I'm going to show you this from the New York Post real quick. We'll show this multiple times here. Now this is, somebody had some footage of this. This is from the New York Post. Look how fast. What? Look how fast that tree went down, guys. You see how fast it took that tree down? This is here at the camp. This is at the Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic. They had no chance. These poor kids, adults, humans, had no chance. I mean, and they're wondering why they couldn't find more survivors. Well, look at this. Now, this was after 4 in the morning, guys. The storm began at 4:30 a.m. in Texas, Central Texas at Camp Mystic. Why wasn't there advance notice? Or was there? We're going to talk about that. 29 and a half feet of waterfall. 3 months of rain in 3 hours. Guadalupe River. Guadalupe River is what you're looking at. They've been dry. And this massive rain comes down on these poor children at church camps and other camps at 4:35 in the morning. Trees down just like that. And then apparently this just rushed right into the campsite. So we're going to go back.
Together, they did not survive the floodwaters. They were going into the 3rd grade, attending Bradville Elementary and Highland Park ISD. I know Highland Park ISD and University Park up there in Dallas, they are deeply hurting tonight. Also, I want to mention 9-year-old Janie Hunt of Dallas. She died. Her family confirmed to Fox 4 yesterday. And we know there are other North Texas families and so many families who are just waiting for answers. I'm gonna have my photographer pan here to the left a little bit, if you can, just to show, this way, I'm so sorry, just to show the river that came through and just blew over these trees. And we've seen men who are searching along this shoreline. I do not know who they are. I do not know if they're first responders or associated with the camp, but there's this man in the light blue who has been going up and down the riverbank since we have arrived, just looking for anything. And I'll just add an anecdote.
Guys, welcome in. I hope you had a good 4th of July and good weekend. It's hard to, for me, just me, having hamburgers and enjoying this weekend, not thinking about these little girls and these people. So there is a website to go on. I will try to get that information for those who have time off from work and able to get out there. They have American Red Cross. They're going to be there for as long as it takes, 10 days, maybe 10 months. I don't think people really realize on how horrific this storm was. And as far as advance notice, we're so hard to play Monday quarterback. This should not be politics, or we should not really blame, in my opinion, meteorologists. There was a notice out that a storm could very well hit this area. As it got closer, storms can change. They gave notice out. They could have closed it down. They could have not reopened it, but they didn't see any signs or evidence that a storm was going to hit and rain this hard. They were looking at some rain, maybe a little bit of rain, some hard rain, just like it rains here in Las Vegas, up in the mountains. It rained for an hour or two. There was no notice. Things happen. What we need to do is learn from this. And they're looking for volunteers, search and rescue. I'm a strong believer. It's not cold there. That there possibly could be a young lady. There's 11 missing. There could be people still alive. Why not? There could be alive. It's not cold. Maybe they can find someone alive in the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or an hour. I'm going to take you back into some of this coverage here.
Yesterday, we were in Kerrville and then Ingram, so today we made the trip up to Hunt, where Camp Mystic is, and the damage up here is extensive. I mean, you could really see where that rushing water was raging downstream, and last update from Governor Abbott is...
Thank you for the likes. Just a friendly reminder, if you forgot to hit the like if you enjoy the content. It helps our station out. So just a friendly reminder if you can hit the like. Thank you so much.
But like Governor Abbott said... earlier last night and first responders earlier today, this is a challenging recovery effort. It's an incredible amount of debris. There's trees that are blown down. We saw furniture and cars wrapped in the trees. Boulders. My photographer and I took a little bit of a trek for us to get up here. Yeah, I do see that man has a badge, but yeah, we're out here just trying to get any information. It is somber, I can tell you here at Camp Mystic, but Casey, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, Peyton, you talked about your trek, and I wonder how you guys got there, because we obviously initial reports were that roads were washed out. They couldn't even access it because of debris, which is why there had to be so many of those evacuated by air, by those helicopter baskets. What was it like? How difficult was it for y'all to get through?
I can definitely see how yesterday and Friday helicopters were absolutely needed to get these girls and these people to safety. Today the water has receded, and as that water has receded, you know, we can get across the bridge, but you can see just how high up the debris was on these trees. You have tires.
Look at that. So that's how high the water was, guys, on these trees.
You can see why
Take a
we're
look.
not able to get to these girls and get to the people immediately, and they had to bring in those choppers. But today it has receded, but at the same time, it's
welcome in the judge. Good morning, good afternoon. We are 3 days into this almost. We are. We're 3 days into this horrific flooding rescue now. Advance notice. We're talking about massive storm.
At that mattress.
Search and recovery, guys. Search and recovery now.
A tree branch, and you know, obviously spent a lot of time at disasters myself as a correspondent through the years at Fox News, and one thing that always kind of haunted me was going into neighborhoods after those flash floodwaters had receded and seeing the line on the exterior of the home where the
All right, and you are taking that live look once again there.
So here's a live look there. They have cameras. This is live look here from Fox.
There after it was flooded. We're going to head back to our Fox 4 Dallas team in just a moment here. We'll be right back.
While we wait for them to come back, guys, I'm going to show you some more of this here. Hold on. Welcome in, guys. I'm going to show you some of the damage here one more time here for the viewers that are just coming in. So this was from the New York Post, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in, come on in. This was a video taken from somebody in New York Post that happened. I believe this was happening after the 4:30. So this started at 4:30 a.m. This looks kind of daylight. So I'm going to assume between 6:30, 7 o'clock. Look how fast, if this water, imagine, just look at this. And I believe the camp was right along the Guadalupe River, Guadalupe. Girls' summer camp. There's trees just snapping, bodies. I mean, it's just awful, awful. Exactly, Laps. Just ignore it, guys. Don't buy into some of those. You know, everybody has their different view, but yes, politics can come into play later. But look at this. Look at this. I don't know if anybody in here is going down the river rafting. These are speeds that are just horrendous. I mean, look at this. So here's the rescue. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Guys, bear with me here. I'm trying to get you as much as I could to show you exactly. Whoops.
The latest that we have gotten here was a press conference just about an hour or so ago. Those numbers that I can share.
All right, here's some numbers, guys.
Death toll from this flash flooding has rose to at least 67 as rescuers are still working through this challenging terrain here to find more
67.
bodies, and continuing their desperate search for many.
I'm sure it's going to be in the hundreds, guys, after,
missing
you know,
couples from that
unfortunately.
summer camp. We do know that Kerr County officials have found 16 bodies since yesterday afternoon, bringing that total number of dead there to 59. The dead included 21 children. I did just want to bring
Welcome
you
in,
this
Kurt.
image
Yes,
here
God bless
as we
everyone.
can see these
God bless.
efforts
Chicken nuggets,
still
how are you?
underway as of right now. I did also want to bring you back to
Yes,
this
Richard, they're going to need a
image
lot of
again.
help.
This is
Lots of help.
outside of Camp Mystic. We've been seeing the.
So this is outside of Camp Mystic for the viewers who are coming in. We're showing you this. This is a search and rescue now. Or excuse me, search and recovery. Search and
What I wanted to
recovery.
do right now is head back to our Fox 4 Dallas team. They did just have a reporter there reporting live. I believe she may still be at this point. They are still speaking about Camp Mystic. They have some more aerial shots right now. So let's head over there and listen in.
Here's some updates here. Let's see what we got here.
You can just see what that water, and think about how heavy a tree is. I mean, some of you may have picked up tree branches or cut up tree branches after a bad thunderstorm that have fallen. Think about how heavy trees are, and then look at the trees behind you, and look at what that water did to those trees.
Exactly.
It's impossible to swim out in that kind of condition. So
That's why this led to so many people losing their lives and children.
Peyton Yeager, John Gannan, we'll let you guys go. We'll let you do some more news gathering. Hopefully maybe get in the car and cool off a little bit. I know it's hot, it's humid. You guys are really doing invaluable work down there, and we appreciate you being our eyes and ears on the ground in the scene. We'll be back, of course, with you all throughout the next couple of hours as we are with you. Before we go to a commercial break, I want to pass along some news that's just coming down from the FEMA Regional 6 press office. We know that
Crystal, how
Trump
are you?
signed
Good to see you.
and approved that federal disaster declaration, a major disaster declaration. So the FEMA Region 6 press office just sending out a statement a few minutes ago saying that FEMA has approved the disaster assistance and that they're offering help to the state of Texas to supplement recovery efforts. So how time and how long it will take for FEMA teams to parachute in. Again, this is worthy of a conversation, a bigger conversation down the line, maybe in a different form. But we've been all talk about cuts to FEMA and the Federal Emergency Management Agency Association, and they don't keep people doing in times like this. So just the incredible pictures.
Yeah, I'm unable to pin the rules, guys.
We are going to take.
Let's guys, welcome in. We have a large amount of chat. For some reason, Crystal, thank you so much. I'm unable to pin the message. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to go off and come back on, but I cannot pin the message. You're yesterday or today for some reason. We can try it again a little bit, but welcome in, guys. This is a horrific storm. They're looking for volunteers, for people to possibly volunteer, search and rescue. It's just heartbreaking that I have a feeling you're going to see the death count is going to go up even higher. There's 11 missing girls. Let's take a look. I'm trying to do the best I can, guys, on this live to read and pin the message. It's almost impossible. So sorry. Yeah, that's from the New York Post. Wow.
Another way of looking at it, 1.5
The Blue Compass
million
RV All-American Summer Road Trip is on. With new RVs starting at just $97 a month. Plus, in-store only specials at our 100-plus locations coast to coast. Big country.
Peyton at the Guadalupe River. That is how much water went through there in a matter of minutes. So there's a broader conversation to be had about what exactly happened that night. So leading up to it, there was a tropical storm named Barry that made landfall in central Mexico late last week, or midweek last week. And what happened is its remnants went up to Texas and provided a focus for those flooding rains heading into the night of Thursday, July 3rd.
I got something else here, guys. Searching. Here's a. Let's see what we got here. Hold on one second, guys. I got no volume, but this is a search and rescue here, and hoping they're hoping and praying, and hopefully they can find, because the weather is not real cold. I guess that's some good news, and hopefully by any miracle of God that they can find a little girl somewhere there, or they're searching right now for 11 girls and one counselor. Yeah, I cannot pin any messages, guys. I'm doing the best I can, guys. All I can say is, just try to ignore some of the comments that are bothering you. Just don't let it get to you for today or any day. I'm trying to work 2-3 the best I can to give some views out, and for some reason it's unable to pin. So just try to ignore it and take a couple deep breaths and don't let it get to you. As far as the politics part, we can talk about that another time. We can't talk about advance notice and why wasn't there advance notice. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just want to give you some coverage here that I can get for live here. Yeah, don't laugh. I wouldn't. I wouldn't even respond to some of these comments as far as politics go towards the governor or the president of the United States. So you're going to have mixed feelings on both sides, and a lot of things going through people's heads right now, and what can you do? The main thing here is, for me, is to pray and hope that we can find these ladies, because as another hour goes by, another day goes by, it doesn't look good. And these are families without lost their children out there, kids and daughters and sisters and fathers and mom who let these these camps, these church camps, they let them go to these camps, having a good 4th of July, and this happened. So that's what we need to focus on, and praying and hoping, and politics can be talked about later on. For me, this is anything to do with politics. All right, let's get back to this. I'm trying to get some volume here. So unfortunately, it's not working out. Yes, God bless and keep Texas protected. Yes. As Isabel would say, please take a deep breath and clear your thoughts. It really helps. Yes. Yeah, don't get into the politics, guys. I mean, and by the way, if anybody wants to talk, come in here and express their politics, just do you can to ignore them. I'm trying to give you coverage of all this, and now this just went out. Shoot. I had good coverage of that, and now that just went out. Well, let's get back to, hold on one second here, guys. All right, that's people enjoying the beach in Clearwater, Florida. They're on a commercial break there. I'm trying to get you coverage of the search and rescue. I think I got it back. Hold on. I think I got it back. Okay, good. I got it back. Okay. Meanwhile, while we look at that, I'm going to go ahead and check out a local 29 news channel in Texas. I appreciate everybody being here. I hope everybody enjoyed their 4th of July and their today and yesterday the best you can. It's hard not to think of these poor people and families have lost their life. It's so sad. And again, I'll say this one last time. Politics needs to be talked about this down the road, and all these tragedies. This wasn't any kind of thing to do with politics. It's Mother Nature, and we can't explain why weather can come as fast as it did, and sometimes with no warning. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Other than that, sit back, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the search and rescue, and then I'm going to try to get something from Local 29 in Texas. So bear with me if you guys could. I will share. Well, now, never mind. I was going to say something, but it was going to be politics, so I'll leave that for now. It was going to be something about a news channel, but I'm not going to bring it up because I know I'm going to upset people. So I'll keep my big mouth shut on that. But there is a certain channel out there that's not covering this that much, and I'm going to leave it at that, not talk about it. It's sad. Really sad that they're not talking about it. All right, let's see here. Welcome in, everybody. We have 58 likes. I appreciate the likes on trying to cover, bringing the viewers up. We've been covering this now for 3 days. It's just sad to see this. It really is. All right, what do I have here? Hold on. What do I have here? Do I have something here? This is News 4 out of San Antonio coming up on my big screen. So hold on. San Antonio. I got it on the big screen here. This is what we were just watching. Unfortunately, there's no volume here, but this is a search and rescue preparing. If you're just coming in, happy Sunday, Mini-Me. Always good to see you. There's still 11 girls missing and 1 counselor. Everything is changing rapidly. They are looking for volunteers to perhaps, they don't want any drones. I was listening to the press conference. For some reason, they don't want any drones flying in here because they're afraid it can cause more damage. So that's up to you guys to decide on that. Good afternoon, Ozzy. I'm just reporting what the sheriff said. They do not want any drones. If anybody uses any drones, they're going to face some penalty. They're going to search some charges. They don't want any drones. But the search and recovery is now underway. And right now, there is a lot of talk about advance notice. Why wasn't there advance notice? Well, I'm going to share something with you guys. What I've heard from the Weather Channel, that there was notice, but there wasn't like a high red alert notice. And this was like on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday is what I heard. Okay, guys? The storm, what they seen on radar, changed directions. And it might be true. It might be true. And then on that Thursday morning, 4th of July, 4:30, prior to that, they said, oh my God, this thing is going to hit, Mystic Campsite. It's going to hit that Guadalupe River. Excuse me, guys. I'm looking, I'm reading. And for some reason or another, in Guadalupe River, a lot of people, before we start blaming, they didn't have cell phones. The signals are weak. 1 bar, 2 bars, no bars. And even those who got, hello, what's going on? Hey, there's a storm heading. You might want to get those young ladies out of that area and yourself. And they did. They took it serious, right? But by the time they got into their vehicles, it was,
There's nothing quite
it
like
was
the
too
feeling
late.
of TV delivery day, especially
So,
when it involves
it's easy to say, blame this, blame that. But that's exactly what happened. It was just too late for them to evacuate. Now, some got out. They rescued some. There's been like 900 people evacuated. Or excuse me, there's been a recovery. They've gotten a lot of people out. I forget the exact number, but they've gotten people out of here. So it wasn't like they didn't get anybody out. They did get some out. They just unfortunately couldn't get as many as they wanted out. Hold on 1 second, guys. You're looking at a search and rescue, or search and recovery. I keep on saying rescue. They're calling it a search and recovery. And there's also a possibility they can find some people here. I'm hoping. This is just terrible, terrible. So this is what, day 3? Day 3, as 11 girls are still out there. It's just sad. I was hoping and praying that we would find more, but unfortunately, they did not, guys. I'm hesitating in the background. I'm looking for some more footage. I appreciate you guys hitting a like and supporting this live and this broadcast here. I'm Sal, I'm your host. I'll turn the camera around. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the memberships on here. Fortunately, I cannot pin anything. I don't peek as Trident and Crystal and Laughs. I cannot pin anything today. I'm sorry. It's not me. It's not allowing me to pin anything. I am reading your messages the best I can. I'm also working 3 different cameras. I'm trying to do the best I can to bring you guys up to date who've been following this sad story developing in Texas. So bear with me, guys, as I operate a couple cameras and showing you hopefully some good news and recovering. So just bear with me if you could. Thank you so much. Hello, Fabian. Hello, Patricia. I've lost a footage I wanted to show you here. Trying to get it back. I'm looking down right now, guys. I'm working on equipment, so almost a year. Whoa, Fabian. Hold on, Fabian. Let me just turn the camera off. Hold on. High five, fist bump, Fabian. We appreciate it, Fabian. On behalf of me and Maribel and everybody else on this live, we appreciate your support and helping out as much as you possibly can to continue these live streams and particularly helping out the homeless. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you, Fabian. Appreciate it. Almost a year. Wow. I'm looking down, guys. If the moderators, if I missed something, any kind of just bear with me here. If one of you can let me know if I missed something. I'm looking down here trying to find more coverage for you guys to keep you up to date on a sad event that happened here. So I know I'm missing a lot of stuff right now, and I apologize. Shoot. I just can't get it. Oh, man. Let's see here. Well, maybe I got it now. Yeah, lots of prayers. That's what they need, Fabian. So we start covering this, what was it, 24? On 4th of July, when I start covering this, or the day after, I believe it was the day after, I apologize, there was 24 young ladies, 24 kids, or 24 total, excuse me, and now we're up to almost 67 dead, 21 children, 11 are that are missing, girls, and 1 counselor, and unfortunately, it's probably going to reach into the hundreds by the end of Sunday. It's sad news. If anybody out there who's off or able to help out over there in person, when I say over there in Texas, in the Guadalupe River, they have Red Cross there. They're looking for people to possibly volunteer the search and recovery. Just wanted to put that out there. I got to tell you, I am really thinking about it. I really am. It's just, you want to do your part as much as you can. I mean, look at this. This is the aftermath of the damage of this river. And and there's hurricanes now in Florida. Fabian, Mike M, I'm hearing there's a tropical depression, or they were been talking about a possible hurricane in Florida, south and down south, some crazy weather. And for me, this is Mother Nature. It could be at its worst. I mean, I don't like to get into, as Laugh says yesterday, politics, just ignore. People are going to have their opinion and they want to express their opinion on political, and that's fine. I have no problem with it. Just don't pay attention of it. What we should pay attention of is more love and more support and prayers. Or if you don't believe in prayers, just hope that they can find more people. And these are kids you're talking about, and adults, young adults. So now they're saying 70. So I got something here. Looks like there's 70 dead now. What did I say? 67. So I guess they're counting different counties. 70 dead total. 11 girls from the camp are missing, like I said a few minutes ago. 11 girls are missing, according to Fox. Headline news. It really doesn't matter. I just announced the news channels for YouTube, guys. I'm not announcing Fox or CNN because I'm trying to give them recognize. I'm just letting you know when I'm reporting. I'm not favoring any channel on this stream. So when I call out the news channel, it's for YouTube, to let YouTube know what you're watching. So I'm just letting the viewers know. Okay, thank you. I'm not giving them any kind of credit or anything like that. All right. And I wanted to give you guys something here. I just can't find it here. Hold on. Welcome in, everybody. As we enjoy our end of the 4th of July Independence Day weekend, which we should, and enjoy with our families and loved ones. We always got to remember when we are enjoying our 4th of July, Memorial Day, and these events, you're looking at eye in the sky here as a search and recovery, that enjoy it with the family. That's most important. Your grandkids, your kids, because you just don't know what one day is from another. With that said, enjoy it the much you can, but also it's hard not for me to keep in the back of my head, even as I'm doing and showing you some of this footage, on the loss of lives and the families, what they got to go through. And a home can be repaired, right? Church can be repaired, and auto, trucks and cars can be replaced. But what cannot be replaced is losing a little girl, in this case, mostly girls, and a father or a church leader, a counselor, church counselors, whatever you might want to call them. Thank you, Fabian, for putting that up there. That stuff you can't replace. So, and then one more time with politics. For me, this is not about politics. It's about a massive storm that went different directions, and later on they can discuss what they can do to advance their weather alert system, advance notice. Now, don't buy what you believe. Let me turn the camera around. Don't hear what's going on social media so much, right? A lot of it's misinformation. I'm not going to say lies, but what happens is one person sees a report, the next reporter, next news channel, next YouTuber. I'm not pointing out any fingers, and you get that information. What I was told, they did have a report out that a storm was coming. I'm not defending the weather at all. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. And they told them there could be a storm, and they asked, how bad is it? And they're like, it's pretty bad, but they didn't have it for this area at this Guadalupe River. And then all of a sudden, within hours, maybe 4 hours, I don't want to be 100% sure, it took a direction towards this mystic campsite and this area. And they thought that they could give enough notice, but there was not much cell phone usage. They were trying to contact these leaders in these church, and hello, they couldn't hear. And then finally, when they got through, hey, there's a storm coming. You might want to evacuate. Well, when? Like now. So they try to get in their cars, packed up their girls and whatever they have on, and a bottle of water. Let's get out of here. And they got in their cars, their trucks, mostly trucks, because I was in an area where you needed 4x4. And the water, the stream, and I'm looking for that stream I showed you earlier, came so rapidly quick. It just took the cars and turned them over. and then those who got through, some of them drowned, and some did get out, and then some wanted to go back to help out the little girls. So imagine you're getting out, you're almost out, you look in the rearview mirror and you see a little girl hanging from the tree. And what do? You go back, and there's so many sad stories where people were going back to recover, and they lost their lives on the recovery. I've told you yesterday, there was a father on a nearby area at a cabin. They were there camping, and he got his family on the roof, and he lost his life. And there's so many stories of people who did evacuate because by that time. But I'm going to get you some more of that footage on how fast. If anybody has gone river rafting in the chat, yes or no, you've been on that river, and you have your helmet on, and you go through, and you're expecting the river to get, and all of a sudden it gets really, really bad. Have you been on that river? I have not, but it can get very quick by some of these footage I'm seeing here, and that's how quick that you can drown in seconds, and that's what happened here in this area. As you're seeing more footage here, I'll turn the camera back around. Welcome in. God bless everybody on this Sunday. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their last day. I know a lot of you might be off for another day or two or a week. If you are off, I appreciate you being here and coming in with us as a family here, and we support. Look at that. It looks like a tornado or a hurricane. Now, you who live in Florida, a lot of people on here are from Florida or Texas too, and you know about these hurricanes or tornadoes, right? Look at this. It's just, look at that car. They're stuck there. See how was that a car? I think it was a car. Wow. Hard to view. So right here, I'll just show you guys. Whoops, hold on. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. So right here. Okay. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, what we're watching is recovery here in the state of Texas. So this is Camp Mystic right here. Can you see? That's the camp right there, right where my index finger was. I'll zoom in a little bit, just to give you some perspective. And then there's the river. So there's the river, right? Guadalupe River. And here is Camp Mystic. And then, of course, over here is San Antonio and Kerrville. And this storm, the river's here, and they were camping here. So the river just goes around. And then you can see here, look how close they were. So I guess they were camping in this area, I'm assuming, and in tents, and in also I guess they were also in a cabins. And their cars must have been parked over here, somewhere in that area. So when they got the notice, it was just a little too late for most. Thank you so much for all the likes. We got 100 likes in here. I appreciate you guys. I'm Sal, your host. I'm just following up the more details. Unfortunately, now it's up to 70 deceased and 21 children, and 11 girls are still missing somewhere in there, and one counselor. Could they be alive? Somewhere? It's not cold, and I like to say, you guys are, in your own opinion, I'm going to say miracles happen, and maybe they'll find a young lady or two or all of them in somewhere. Let's hope that they're all cuddled up somewhere in there. maybe in another cabin they haven't found yet or something, or near a tree or in the woods there. But that's just a little perspective there. I'll move on with the video now.
President Donald Trump reacted to the tragedy.
The President of the United States was just addressing, was very heartbreaking and sad, of course, and his thoughts and prayers, and trying to, give a little bit of a support. Here you go now. I'll bring the volume up.
And knock down trees.
No warning at all. So.
Maria and Felipe Tapia live near the river. They say the water rose so high and so fast that they had to leave their home and swim to safety.
We got out right in time. Today will be a hard day.
The rain began early Friday. Officials say it came down so fast that the Guadalupe River rose more than 20 feet in 4 hours. One of the worst hit areas in Kerr County. This home swept away by the river.
Whoa, look at
This
that.
water is destroying
Wow.
several homes in Kerrville.
We went ahead and jumped out, and we
That's
got
hard.
washed down 3 houses, and we finally ended up snagged on a big bush.
Scott Walden says he was hanging onto a tree for 30 minutes until he was rescued by emergency crews. The front of his house now gone. More than 850 people have been rescued or evacuated since Friday.
We use specialized equipment with a lot of helicopters.
One thing I want to tell you and assure y'all is that we will not stop till every single person is found. We've got all the resources we need. We're here for the long haul.
And at a news conference in the last 30 minutes, Texas state officials said that this remains a rescue and not a recovery mission, but hope is fading with each hour.
It is now. Now it is a search and recovery as of this Sunday. I believe the local time there might be, I don't know. Let's see here, 1 o'clock, maybe 1:15 there. So now it has been officially clear. Search and recovery is what I'm hearing. Search and recovery, and they're looking for volunteers. And if you're just coming in, they want to avoid drones because they feel that drones are not. I don't know. I don't know the exact reason. I think they just didn't want to use drones. For whatever reason, they don't want to use drones. So maybe they're worried about them causing more damage, but I don't know. But anyhow, they are looking for volunteers and hoping they can find bodies alive. I mean, let's hope they can find bodies alive. But at this point, let's see here. I'm here, guys. I'm just looking for something here. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Recreational boating in Lake Travis or Lake Austin or any of the other lakes right now.
So this is some of the search and rescue coming in here into that area. Just to give you a little bit of perspective what happened there. Cars turned upside down. You see what I mean? Look at these cars. Horrific. So, this is the Crystal, thank you for putting in there. Yeah, guys, I am. The chat is moving very quickly. If you're just coming in, if I'm missing any messages, shout out to all the moderators being here today, Crystal and Janine, Fabian, Mike M. If I'm missing anybody, those are the scene. We are very difficult today. The chat was moving very quickly. I see everybody in the chat. We are hoping for better news here as the search and recovery on day 3. This is day 3, and hoping that it can find some little girls alive. This was a storm that, you know, I'm gonna say came out of nowhere. The meteorologists were covering this. They seen that it could be bad, but they didn't think it was gonna happen in this particular area in Guadalupe River. You know, we can sit here for the next hour, but we won't, and say, well, why didn't they just stay with this storm? Well, they did. They did. You know, we're always, as humans, we like to point fingers, and sometimes those fingers are correct. But in this situation, what I'm hearing is they were given notice. But the notice was it was not going to be as severe. And then within an hour or two, it took a direction. Clouds can change. I am not a meteorologist. Storms can change. And it went right here to this river, Guadalupe. Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, there's a river there. The storm's 100 miles out. Should they evacuate, or should they eliminate anybody from camping? That's not for me to decide. You know, you guys could put it in the chat. You know, I suppose if I had a child in a church or a camp or Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, or if I was a grandfather, you know, I have my grandkids, and I knew a storm could be 100 miles away, I probably would not, you know, want them to go. But, you know, what they were hearing at that time, the percentage of it wasn't going there. And then when it took different directions, what I'm hearing reporting, it was too late. They had about an hour to evacuate, and they had no cell phone. There was people with 1 bars and 2 bars, 3 Gs, and those who got through, they were, hey, waking up everybody. 4:30 in the morning, guys. Most people were sleeping, and they're waking everybody up. You know, waking up the church leaders, the counselors. The counselors, I guess, are better names. Counselors, hey, we got a storm. Get these little girls up. Okay, you know, let's get them up. That takes 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, right? Now you get them up. Let's get to our vehicles. Well, the vehicles, I'm assuming, are about, look at this truck, guys. Hold on, look at this. That's what they did to a truck. Imagine a Ford 150, or imagine a Jeep. These are massive storms. So now they get to the parking, where they park their cars. That takes another 20 minutes. So now you're in 30 minutes. The storm is almost there. It's raining. Now it's pouring. It's lightning. They're scared. They don't want to get struck by lightning. And then all of a sudden there's river. Rivers rise, guys. Anybody near a river? Jose, thank you for that gift. Appreciate your donation. Thank you so much for your support. Jose, thank you. Appreciate that. Seen that. Thank you so much. So now they get into the cars, and now they're safe. But these rivers are rising. It's rising. And they're trying to get through. They're trying to get across or whatever through these back arteries, streets, or back roads, right? In other better words. And what happens? The water, for those who did get into the vehicles, turn it over. And for those who made it in and got out, some did, some didn't. Some seen the little girls in the back, and they had to go back. And there were some who just didn't have a cars, and didn't know there was other girls in other areas, other campsites. Now, not to mention, guys, hello everybody, and I'm Sal. Welcome in. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate you guys being here on a Sunday, day 3 of this Camp Mystic. And then for those maybe who are from out of town, maybe from New Jersey, maybe from Florida, Alabama, all parts, New York, who come here. It wasn't just for a religious camp. This was for all campers. And maybe there was other campers and tents out there. Those people didn't make it either. Imagine. So this you're looking at is the aftermath. I'm pretty confident these are volunteers. I think these are volunteers. These are like just people like us here that are volunteering. He might not be a volunteer. This might be part of a search and recovery. What do you guys think in the chat? But these look like these are people that are volunteering in that area, right? What do you guys think? These look like people just volunteering. Look at that. These are heroes right here. These men and women, look at these heroes. I love to see this. These guys want to help. They want to bring some closure. They want to find these young ladies. That's nice. Let's help. Let's help. Let's think positive. Let's hope that we can find a little girl in the tree. Maybe we can. Maybe we can. Or a church leader or counselor. And if not, we find a body, we let authorities know we found a body and bring some closure to families who are waiting and hoping and praying that their loved ones, their little girl is there. Just so sad. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Appreciate it. So hard to cover something like this when it comes to kids, you know. For me, all adults, whether they're in their 90s, 70s, or 60s, or 50s, but little kids, grandkids, well, it's hard to witness. And these are all volunteers, guys, at Camp Mystic Lake, Guadalupe. And so this is some of the footage that's happening right now that I found. Now, I'm sorry there's no volume, but I'm here to give you some volume, so to speak. And anyhow, search and recovery. But in my opinion, there's always hope. Right, guys? There's always hope. Now, for a lot of you might not know what's going on. Maybe you're away or camping or on the beach and enjoying your 4th of July, which you should be. This was a storm, a massive storm that hit Texas, Central Texas. It was at Camp Mystic. A storm that was predicted, but not in this area. And unfortunately, there was people there camping, but most importantly, there was a lot of church. They do this annually. I think they've been going back for many, many years. I'm going to take a wild guess, like 50, 60 years. A tradition to go there and they would send their kids and grandkids to this area in Texas called Fisher Stevens Camp Mystic, and they would go there to camp and to see fireworks and to worship and whatever. And this event happened along with other people that were there in this area that were camping, hiking, fishing. A storm that was predicted, but not to be this bad, and also not to be in this area. And there's time to blame. We can do the blame later on. But right now, it's just unfortunate. And this happened at 4:30 in the morning for those who are coming in. Yeah, it's just very bad timing, Ozzy. This is possible at any time or any place. Well said. I mean, and again, I will allude to this, everybody on here, and thank you for being here, Crystal and Isabel. I hope Isabel's doing fine and enjoying her 4th of July weekend, Independence Day weekend. Remember this, guys, real quick, if I could say again, this was something that was at 4:30 in the morning. Most of us, not all, particularly at a campsite, you go to sleep. Most people are sleeping at 4:30. I believe if this happened at 4:30 p.m., you still would have had a disaster. You still had people losing their lives, but it might have been a little different. But unfortunately, it happened at 4:30, so you had to wake them up. So people think you just run, and I'm sure there's a lot of people confused, when they got woken up. When I say they, the church leaders, counselors, I guess they're called, the counselors. I guess they were, you ever get woken up at 4:30 and you're not in your bed and you hear about a storm that's there or it's going to be there in 20 minutes, 40 minutes, you're confused. It takes you 5 minutes to 10 minutes to comprehend what's going on. You can't blame. I'm hearing that they're blaming some of these these counselors. That's not their fault. That's not their fault. They want to have a good time. They want to teach these girls, and they're there for church and worshiping and enjoying the lake and camping and having fun and playing flashlight tag and enjoying 4th of July the next day. They didn't expect this. They're sleeping. They get woken up. Hey, wake up, wake up. What's going on? We have a flood. A flood, rain. Well, I don't see any rain now. They look up and it's raining. We've all been there, right? And then boom, the river rises. So that's what happened here, guys. That is exactly what happened. You can't blame the governor or anybody else. When these storms happen, you can't. It's just like when you have a tornado. You have a tornado that's going to hit in Texas or Houston or Jersey. Believe it or not, they had a tornado not too long ago in New Jersey. Anything. A lot of times, they'll give out the reports. Hey, there's a tornado. It's going to hit in Lincoln County. It's going to hit in Orlando. It's going to hit in Fort. And some people don't want to leave. Well, who do you blame? So, but this was not the case. This was totally not the case of that. This was just a Mother Nature storm that changed directions. Some of the images and what it looks like entering the campsite. Exactly. Who do you blame on that? Read that message there. It's from Ozzy. I mean, you just can't sit here and... Yeah, man, it's just, it happens so fast. I don't think you realize it until you're in an event. God forbid, you're in that situation. I don't think people realize on how fast a river like this river behind us, Guadalupe, how high it can rise. And how much damage it can do. We just don't realize it, right? Until it actually we're near it, and hopefully we make it through it. Here you go. Here's somebody videoing after. This was after, guys.
Yeah, you want to get it once you get over it.
This is somebody who just videoing it a day later. Or maybe a couple hours after, I'm not sure. That's just somebody there who had a video in what they seen after. Now imagine before. I had a video up earlier, guys. I can't find it, from the New York Times. Some of you seen it in the beginning on how, I don't know how they got that footage, but how New York Times, how the reporter from New York got there so quick. But that was pretty close on what happened. I'm going to try to find it one last time. Unfortunately, I can't find it. I had it up on the screen. I thought I had it saved, and I can't find it. But I'm looking for it, and I'll try to bring it up one or two more times if I can find it. But it was from the New York Post. So somebody got there and covered and witnessed in real time. Well, not real time, but an hour afterwards maybe. So I'm trying to figure it how it is here. See here. Wow. I'm still here, guys. I'm just see if I can find that footage, but I just can't. Let's see here what we got here. Hold on.
We are following breaking news for you at this moment. There's been massive flooding in Kirk.
So if I find it, guys, I'll bring it up on the screen again. But it was just on how fast that this river and lakes, in this case a river, can overflow, and how it's just taking trees down. I just can't find it, but it was amazing. A lot of you who came on earlier seen it. It just gives you a little perspective on how fast this stuff can happen, and how very fast you can lose your life or drown and get injured. Now, I appreciate everybody being here on this live stream. We have 147 likes. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all the memberships and moderators. Thank you for your support and all my loyal subscribers. As we are live, of course, we're live almost every day. And we have plenty of videos that we help out the homeless on here as we continue to do that. But today, we're just our third day into this on how bad this storm actually was. And now you're seeing some of the aftermath here now, 3 days of this storm. And then we can discuss why didn't they receive advance notice. Well, my sources, when I'm hearing, they did get advance notice, but they weren't 100% convinced it was going to hit this area. So that's for you guys to decide, on here. Should have they said, hey, close it? Well, I guess on one side, yes. But on another side, you got to say, well, what's the chances? Maybe at that time, there was only a 10% chance this would happen. And I don't think they knew, even if it was a 20% chance, it was going to be this bad. So now on the other side, I'm seeing some yeses in here. I got to tell you, if it was my grandkids, or if I was a parent and I knew there was any kind of storm within 100 miles, this is only me, guys. I would probably say, nah, we better not have them go. Whether it's Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, or a church like this. That's me. But every parent should raise, the family how they want. But, that's the talk, advance notice. But again, I don't think you can blame fingers at the meteorologists, local news. You can't. Right now, what I'm hearing, you can't. Look at this search and people there. And then when it gave out the 2 hour notice, people didn't have cell phones they had phones, but no cell phone service. For those who are coming in, you are looking at some live images here of people volunteering. There's a search and recovery at this point, day 3, Mystic Campsite, Guadalupe River. And we're just discussing, should have been more advance notice. And knowing that there was no cell phone service here, I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing certain parts, there was some 3Gs, 4G, and in other parts of the campsite, there was no service. And by the time they got the service to wake up the little kids, little girls, get up, we got to get going. And for most of them, it was too late. Some did get out. Some did survive. And those who survived, amen. But every time they see these little girls in the next few years of their lives, 12, 13, 15, 16 years old, when it rains hard, it's going to happen again, whether they continue to live in this area, and they probably should. They're going to be scared. They're going to be always in the back of their head. The little girlfriend, the little friend they hung out with is not with them, and they're going to think that the same thing's going to happen. So they're going to need counseling, and even the adults are going to need some kind of counseling, and not to mention the parents who let their little girls go to this campsite, knowing that, thinking in their head they're going to have a good time and worship and learn more about God and whatever, and then their beliefs, and enjoy the 4th of July and see fireworks, toast marshmallows, enjoy the camping life. They do this every year. It's a tradition. Not to mention, there's other people that were camping here. If what I'm hearing, there's other people who came here from other states who just enjoy this spot. Now, we're not looking at the spot right now. We're looking at the highways in and out, but some of the camp spots. I'm going to see if I can find some footage of the campsite itself. So hold on one second, guys. And if I miss any messages, I apologize. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can find some footage of what this campsite looked like. But they're searching. People are volunteering. Look at some of these. They got to get these vehicles out. I mean, they got a lot to do. A lot to do here, guys. Angel, thanks for being here. Yeah, I think it's down to only 11 girls. Somebody said, I think it's down to 11 girls missing and 1 counselor. So. Yeah, our prayers are with these families and that. And as far as people with their comments, and you have some people in here just act like little people. I've always said little people, even in tragedies like this. I'm not surprised. AKA trolls. You're gonna have it. Absolutely, wife Maribel. I agree. And if you don't let it get to you, I mean, if you want to respond to some of the political views, that's fine. I have no problem with it. But if it's going to upset you and make you stress, just ignore it. That's what I can suggest. Because this is no blame any president, and it doesn't matter. This was a massive storm that took a different direction, and now we have a recovery, and hoping and praying we can find little girls. Or
down, and some houses end up being fine.
If you're just coming in, this is live. This is just videos of on what they need to do. The cleanup. The cleanup. And the funding, at this point, they're still looking for bodies. Well, before that, I say they're still looking for possibly bodies. In my mind, I've seen miracles. So you got a group of people looking for bodies, recovering bodies, little girls alive, and a counselor. Now, just to bring everybody up to date, we have 11 girls that are missing, 1 counselor. Not to mention there was people there camping. There's also possibility of people up there in a different area. I don't know the area, but if anybody who lives in this area, I'm sure it goes miles and miles. They are also looking to get some of these vehicles and cranes, get them off and get these trees out and cut these trees down. And it'll make it easier to find bodies and rescue, because at this point, parents want closure. They want to know, at this point, is their little girl's alive, or is she deceased? So they can continue the grieving and they rise ahead of them. So right now you have a lot of different things going on here, guys. It was a massive storm that changed directions, according to the meteorologist. This is not from me. This is from what I'm hearing. And they got notice, but it was about an hour or two, not enough time, without any cell phone usage. And now they're working on finding bodies and possibly a body alive. And also trying to remove these vehicles and trees and cut them down and get rid of them and make it easier to maybe find somebody in this caught underneath there, caught. Maybe somebody's there, and it is warmer there, and it is possible that somebody could be alive or not. And then they can go ahead and continue their search. So we got 11 girls that are missing and 1 counselor as far as the church goes. Now, there's other people still missing, but they're concerned right now about the church thing. And you can see that Guadalupe, I call it Guadalupe, and if I'm pronouncing it incorrect, I apologize. Guadalupe River. Guadalupe River. And it's day 3, and people are volunteering. I'm hearing people are coming in, flying in from other states and volunteering to rescue and try to help with chainsaws and get some of these trees out. That was not my camera. That was, they are using sky cameras. And yeah, I know, it made me dizzy too, but it had nothing to do with me. It's the local news is doing a great job covering this. Let's see here. My wife says that Trump is very busy to try to get all of the criminals out of the United States. I'm pretty sure he will send somebody to help these people, and already has. They've sent Secretary of State Kristi Noem has been there. She's been there on foot, and she's been there. I believe she's there today, 100% yesterday. And he's given the federal assistance from FEMA, and you have volunteer Red Cross. But as far as money, at this point right now, they have the funding. The Red Cross is there. They have the support that's needed. But unfortunately, not going to bring back these lives. And all we can do is hope and pray that they can find some more. But look at this, some of this debris here. Yeah, they're looking for volunteers. If anybody is on here and blaming or pointing fingers at local government or any government on both sides, and that's on the left or right, they are looking for people to help. I mean, get on a plane, a couple $100, fly over. I'm sure they'll give you the food and water you need and chainsaws and help, or your 2 beautiful eyes and look and rescue. So yeah, if you're there and you think you are mentally and physically fit to spend a few hours, a day or two or three to recover, you can do it. And if it's something that makes you feel good, then go ahead and do it. But as far as the blaming on anybody on either side, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a time here not to point fingers at government, local government, or any government. This is just a tragedy. A tragedy that came very quick. Now, I appreciate the 158 likes on here and the donations that continue helping our live streams so I can get out some information. Everybody has their different opinions on this, so I have no problem with that. And if you have a problem with some of the name blaming, then just ignore it, guys. That's the best I can say, is ignore it. And if you want to get back and comment back, that's fine too. Wow. So something is... So missing children, that's what we're looking for, guys. That's what we should be focusing on. Missing children, right? We should be focusing on missing children. $70 confirmed deaths in Texas floods. 70. There's been 70. 70. And that is with a total of 21 children. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it should be, in my view, look at chainsaw, our thoughts. And if you're mentally or physically, financially able to help, I'm sure you can go to this area, fly in, and help. But to point fingers, it's okay. But to continue to point fingers and continue to point fingers, how's that help? It doesn't help at all, in my opinion. We can sit here for the next 2-3 hours, but we will not, and say it could have been more advance notice. Because people, we hear what we want to hear. And it's easy to blame government, Weather Channel. You just can't. You just can't. They gave out notice. Things changed. If you're just coming in, I've said this multiple times. God is speaking, Miguel. Good afternoon. Good morning. God is speaking. I will just add to the God is speaking is we need more prayers and being positive and learning. Elizabeth, how are you? How we can do better. Maribel says, yes, sorry to get mad. One never give credit to Trump. He did so much in just a few months. Yep, as far as Trump goes, he's done so much. I mean, I don't know what more he can do with this. He's already sent Secretary of State Kristen Noem over there. I mean, he's given Texas, he signed it right away and he stopped what he was doing. I mean, what more can he do? I'm sure he was able to take his jacket off, his suit jacket, and put his jeans on. He would go there and help. But unfortunately, with his life and everything, I mean, he's that type of president that would do that. Actually, I think a lot of presidents would in this particular issue. So there's no blame on this. There's been times where government made wrong decisions, right? But on this, no. So 70 confirmed dead in Texas floods. Wow. So if you're just coming in, this was the massive storm in Camp Mystic, day 3. We now have search and recovery, and that's what you're seeing here. But I would say there's also an outside shot, and with prayers and miracles that they can find a possible body somewhere. As the weather is not cold there, it is warm, but it is getting later and later in the search and recovery. And for those who were just coming up and looking at it and seeing what is going on, this was a massive flood. And, you know, of course, you're going to hear, well, why didn't they get advance notice? Why did the church leaders go there? Well, it was a storm they were looking at for a couple of days, and this storm was not going to be in this area at all. And then within the last 2, 3, 4 hours, it changed direction, and it's been dry there. And the storm came very quickly, rainfall, and this Guadalupe River overflowed. And these people were at 4:30 in the morning. These people, meaning these young ladies and kids and counselors in church and other people were camping, pretty much had no chance. They had to wake up, and plus they had no cell phone. So those who did get a bar or 2 bars on their phone and got reached at 4:35 in the morning, they got the call, hello, and this is your sheriff. You need to evacuate. And maybe at that time it was just starting to rain, which, I've been camping. People camp a little rain, and, you're trying to wake up and take this in. And they had minutes to get these young ladies off this, away from this river. Thank you, Mike. And get their little girls and their church off this area. And by the time they got into the vehicle, that takes time, guys. I mean, let's say it took 30 minutes to get in their vehicles, their trucks, and get out of there. Trees are falling in front of them. Imagine. And those who got past those trees from falling, the river was rising. And some of them got out. Some were lifted to local hospitals with minor, some serious injuries. I think it was 400, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of them didn't. And you are looking at 11 girls who are missing and 1 counselor. And the total of confirmed dead are 70. And out of those 70, 21 are children. So they changed direction and hit this area, Guadalupe River, Girls Summer Camp. And some of them were running to their cars. Running for their cars. These are little kids. They're scared. So, even the counselors were scared. They're running to their cars. And they never made it. They were right near, I'll try to bring up the map again. They were pretty close to what I can see to that river. And they just got swept away. Some they found on a tree, hanging from a tree. And some just couldn't hang anymore. They couldn't hang anymore. And then look how powerful. The river just takes these, that looks like an RV, right? Just takes these little RVs and trucks and just demolishes them. Look at that. Wow. So that's what happened, folks. Now they got the cranes there and they're looking for volunteers. Again, if you're just coming in, the sheriff doesn't want any drones. He figures that will interfere with the search and rescue. But parents want these 11 girls that are missing. The parents want to know at this point, are they alive? Are they deceased? So they can start the grieving and to grieve and get, but anyhow, it's just, I applaud each and every one of these men and women out there helping out. I really do. And hope that this would happen, and God forbid it happen in any state, city, that we would do the same. I appreciate everybody who've been following this story now with us, and maybe other channels for the last 2-3 days. Welcome in. We are coming on the bottom part of our live here, and appreciate all the likes, all the support on this channel, and all the support and prayers for Texas. And again, search and recovery as 70 are confirmed deceased. No volume here for some reason, but this is live footage and local news channel. I forget what channel, but they're on the scene, just trying to give the viewers a perspective on exactly how they're trying to work things out and rescue these people. And thank you, Mike. And also too, I keep saying 11 girls, 1 counselor. What you're not hearing is also what I've heard, other people still missing from other campsites that they're still trying to find. Now, whether they found them between this live or not, I'm looking for, I haven't seen anything. So but you're just coming in late. Hello, Janine. This is our 3rd time, 4th time covering this. It's been 3 days. And I wish there were better news, but unfortunately it's just worse news at this point. Prayers for the family, as Maribel says, yes. And actually, they're only, what we're discussing a little bit as far as the advance notice. Because depending what you hear, it's not always true on advance notice, because you're going to hear what you want to hear. And sometimes, I don't want to point fingers at other channels or news outlets. You can't blame the weather all the time. You can't blame the meteorologists in this, You just can't, in my view. Terry, how are you? Shirley, how are you? Appreciate you guys being here. We had we're this developing story here. I have this feeling, though, between the camp of the girls, that number from 70, unfortunately, is going to rise probably, unfortunately, 80, 90, maybe even over 100 deaths at the end of the day, at the end of this closure on the, support. I just have a feeling there was much more up there. It's at 70 right now, and 11 girls are still missing. 21 little girls are deceased. The camera, that's not my camera moving fast. That is the news outlet. That's about all I can find right now that's live. There might be some other ones I'm going to check here. A lot of warnings in the Bible, someone says. Well, on these warnings, as far as weather, hard to, not always, weather is not always accurate, and we've seen it time to time where weather is right on. We've seen it with the Hurricane Milton, right? Those who live in Florida, the weather got it correct on that. The weather got it correct. And in other hurricanes, they were not correct. Sometimes they say category 5, it's a category 1. Sometimes they're category 2, and you've seen it with storms here in Vegas. I've seen it where we're supposed to get a very bad storm and nothing happens. And then just 2 days ago, Vegas, there was no notice, and we got hit with a, fortunately, nobody lost their lives, but people lost homes and stuff. A storm came out of nowhere. And in the mountains, there was no notice where I was, and rain came from out of nowhere. So these storms, sometimes as we come a long way with weather, improving our weather. In most part, it's doing well, but in this situation, they didn't have notice, but it changed. So those are coming in. So this is just a little bit of the aftermath and volunteers coming into town, and some are leaving, or some are going out back and forth to stores and trying to get. And Red Cross is there trying to feed the people that are rescuing and giving them breaks and water. Again, if you, I've heard that they are looking for volunteers, so you might want to reach out if you're physically, mentally, financially able to help out. I'm sure they can always help volunteers. Red Cross is there. They're going to be there for at least as long as they have to. They'll be there. Red Cross will be there as long as they have to help the family and people that are volunteering their time to give them food and water. And Sheriff Department is still out and have, I believe they had just sad. Yes, thank you for the moderators. Somebody says thank you for the moderators. Moderators are always doing great on this channel. So our salute to the moderators on here. And if some of the comments offend you in any way, just don't read them. Continue on. And if you want to respond. Just knowing that everybody has a different view. And there's also trolls, aka we call them little people on here. People unhappy with themselves and unfortunately take it out on, try to make everybody else down. A lot of people are on scene on this Sunday. Men, women, other church counselors, I'm sure, Will Bauer there, and trying to help out. That's nice. That's nice to see. Trying to get Fox 4 from Dallas on. Let's see if we can get Fox 4 on. See what they got to say here.
Obviously, just so tragic, and I believe it affects all of us because we put ourselves in that position and we know what we would be feeling like. And so we just want to be there to help give a lending hand to our neighbors, our community who are going through this time, to let them know they're not alone and that there's somebody out there that cares about them.
Of course. What are you offering to survivors and families of victims out there?
We currently have some trained chaplains on site right now who are ministering to families. They're offering them hope and comfort and just like I said, just being there to let them know that they're not alone. And so they are there right now. And then starting tomorrow, we're starting the first wave of volunteers to head down there as well to do flood recovery work. This work will be we call it mud out. It's when they go in and they clean out the survivors' homes to help them just get them on that first step towards recovery and just offer that little bit of physical help to help them continue on.
You know, when we were covering this, one of our meteorologists, Kai Capps, mentioned how, this was unpredictable. Even local leaders and state leaders said the same thing. I mean, the amount of rain that came down within an hour, and then, Guadalupe River obviously cresting as well. And I mean, unpredictable. I mean, you can't prepare for something like this, but on your end as volunteers, when you hear that news, how do you prepare to help those that are down there?
Yeah, We always say disasters are unpredictable. They come at usually the most inconvenient time. We just make sure that we're always ready to go, and we are. Our volunteers are amazing, and they're ready to go at the moment's notice. And so as soon as we know that we're needed somewhere, we just start calling people up, and they say we're ready. We got our bag. We have some volunteers who say they've got a bag packed at all times, and so they just grab their bag and they go. And that's what they do. Because they just want to help people, and they want to be that comfort during that time when people are suffering.
Absolutely. And are you still looking for volunteers right now?
We will have some volunteer opportunities later in the week. Our trained volunteers are the first people that are going to go out. And like I said, they're starting on Monday to go out. But we will have opportunities for volunteers who are not trained to go down and offer some help. We'll have those opportunities listed probably later in the week, but we're still fine.
Appreciate you guys liking the video on this live stream. And
when I was on your website, I did see one column that was
helping out,
how to help or how to volunteer. Is that one way that
so
you
I can continue to provide you? This is a car here that they're trying to.
Yes.
Looks like they're in a hurry for some reason. I don't know.
Immediately start helping. The first
doesn't look like they're in a hurry. Why?
That's such a great asset that we have that we can do.
Don't think anybody's in there.
And these families just need that spiritual and emotional connection and help.
Somebody in there, maybe.
And then secondly, you can give financially. We do have a page on our website for that if you want to give to the flood recovery efforts.
But it seems like they're in a hurry.
Is to volunteer. If you're able to go,
having a hard time to get this car doors open here. What might be? Hold on, guys. Let me change view here. Bring you closer to this.
What other ways can viewers and anyone really that knows about Texans on mission?
If you're just coming in, this is the coverage of the Guadalupe River. They giving up on that or what? I don't know if they just want to get this towed away, or they just quadruple checking that there's nobody in there. It seemed like to me, with my eyes, it looked like the jaws of life. Yeah, Pat. It looked like they were trying very quickly to get in there. If they, I don't know what the hurry would be. The car looked like it's not going to fall in at the moment, and this is. Are they afraid it's going to explode? Okay, they got the door open. Is anybody in there? Whoops, sorry, guys. Hold on. Is anybody in that? What the hell? No, I think they're just trying to... I think they just want to, get this moving, and maybe the adrenaline's going. I'm only guessing here, guys. The adrenaline's going, and they want to get this car out of there so they can go on to the next vehicle? Or do they see somebody? They would have got the person out of there by now. So I'm assuming. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure exactly. Don't you just put it on here like this and tow it and get it out of there? You guys tell me in the chat. Now, it seems like they've slowed down a little bit, but for a while there, they were going fast. So maybe they seen something that looked like a child or adult in there. But I don't know. They're really working hard on that car. I have no volume here to see. We got dizzy again. I just got dizzy again. Okay. So, interesting with that car. Yeah, Kristen. I mean, they're doing everything they could. They're hoping when they get into these cars or these trees, they're hoping that maybe they can find a body and possibly be alive, because it is warm. It's not cold, and hoping that here's day 3 that maybe they have a chance, but maybe they'll go back to that car. But anyhow, you heard the two ladies here on the news channel saying they are looking for volunteers, but they don't want anybody to go there yet. They're looking for people later on to help. Yeah, John, this river, we seen it earlier. I'm trying to find some footage of it, but it was, for those who came on in the first 10 minutes, got to see it was reported by New York Times. They were there and how they showed, I believe they got that, I don't know how they got their boots on ground that quick to show how quick that river was running. And it seems like they're on top of a bridge, but I'm having trouble finding it. But yeah, the river can go very quickly, rise very quickly. Shout out to the news, local news, reporting and giving us a little bit of a perspective on aftermath on what exactly is going on there, boots on ground. So shout out to the news outlets there, and also Fox headline news, and all the news outlets. But search and recovery. Sad. Very sad.
There will be lots of time to figure out kind of how we got to where we are to ensure the notification and resources were sufficient. Obviously, this was a 100-year flood, but we also know that there is technology available that may have been helpful. So that is for another day. Right now is focusing on helping those that need our help right now.
I know that, last Thursday, on the 3rd of July, we were actually together at the naturalization ceremony that happened at council chambers. Everybody was excited.
So once again, everybody's going to have their opinion on this in view, which is fine. But like that lady said, it's not time to blame anybody on this. It's time to help out any way you can and hope for the best if you're watching. That's all we can do. With that said, guys, thank you so much. I just want to turn the camera around. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been covering this now for like the last 3 days. I wish there was better news, but unfortunately, just the death toll continues to increase. And here in Texas, there's always a miracle. I like to see a miracle. Maybe later on they'll find a counselor or a little girl found somewhere in that area. Maybe, you never know. Getting by whatever they could. Anything can happen, but the longer it goes on, the worse it can be. I appreciate all the moderators being here today. Thank you so much for all the support donations and memberships on here. If anything comes on where I want to bring some good news out, I'll come back on live. But till then, have a great rest of your 4th of July Independence Day weekend, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Take care.